What's up guys, Zyger here. You know, I grew up playing all the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video games ever since the days of the NES, and I've even featured several of them on the channel. So I was super excited when Super Evil Megacore reached out to me and asked me whether I'd like to do a sponsored video for TMNT Splintered Fate. Now this is a game that came out on the PC quite a while ago, but now it's been released on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It seems to combine many of the playstyles and genres I really enjoy, so I said yeah, absolutely, I'll do it. So this video is sponsored by Super Evil Megacore, and you can pick up the game in the link in the description below. TMNT Splintered Fate is a roguelike game, so it focuses on a fight, adapt, repeat loop, and randomly generated areas where each run features unique room layouts, power-ups, and boss modifiers, and no two playthroughs are identical, and that's one of the most appealing aspects of this type of game. If a player actually dies as their turtle, they return to the lair to upgrade and try again, and this can be really frustrating, but you do get to keep your permanent progression up to that point. The combat emphasizes quick arcade-style brawler combat, so people that love the TMNT beat-em-ups from the past and even Shredder's Revenge are in luck here. You still get that same kind of feel. Each turtle has a basic attack, a sub-weapon or tool attack, a powerful special ability, and a dash, and all these abilities are used to clear rooms of enemies before advancing. There are interactions with characters and a storyline, and shops to get additional items, and all this interacts in the same world where there are dynamic changes. For instance, sometimes there'll be environmental obstacles like storms or slime you have to deal with, and other times you're actually assisted because characters that are friendly to you come in and attack enemies at the same time you are. So there can be hindrances, and there can be things that help you. You can think of the gameplay as a combination of Turtles in Time, the Diablo games, and Hades. But is that even a thing or a genre of any kind? Well, we're making it one. Just add a little bit of pizza to the mix. My absolute favorite part about TMNT Splintered Fate, and this was noticeable right away, is the fact that each of the four turtles are completely distinct, each with their own fighting styles, and it makes for a completely unique experience that makes you want to play the others. For example, Raphael gets a critical strike bonus, and he specializes in high-risk, high-reward burst damage. On the other hand, Donatello is more defensive and has a health regeneration skill, and he has the longest range out of all the turtles. Michelangelo is fast and flashy, he has the quickest attacks and probably is best suited to clear out rooms of enemies, and Leonardo is kind of a jack of all trades. He's the most balanced with precise sword strikes, and he's probably the one I gravitated toward most because of that fact. And what's so great is the game makes this transparent from the very start, because on the character selection screen, you can see these pros and cons to each of the fighters, and it really helps you to be able to make your ultimate decision. But what's so cool is that you can actually unlock Casey Jones, another fan favorite, as a standalone playable character with his own abilities that set him apart from the Turtles through a DLC package. And this package also gives you access to new areas, new enemies, and new artifacts. And if you pick up the game for PlayStation 4 or 5 before June 3rd, you get it for free, and PS Plus users get an additional 20% discount. As far as the core story premise goes, it's actually pretty simple. The narrative begins with Splinter's abduction by the Foot Clan, who are collaborating with a mysterious shadowy entity known as the Shadow Force. The Turtles seek to rescue him and learn more about the mysterious force that has him captured at the same time. The entity has fractured reality, creating unstable portals that warp time and space, and this pulls elements from different TMNT timelines together and from dimensions unknown. So this concept seems to borrow heavily from Turtles in Time, but that is quite alright with me because Turtles in Time was freaking awesome. Do I hear an amen to that? Let me know in the comments if you like it too. Along the way, you pick up more clues as to who could be behind this madness, and in the process, you're subjected to a giant nostalgia overload when it comes to TMNT. And that's such a cool part of this game too, because the gang's all here. They don't omit anyone. The story does feature characters like Metalhead and April O'Neil and Bebop and Rocksteady. Basically, the gang's all here, and you're gonna love it. The story unfolds across 4 chapters, each that are in New York City locations like sewers and streets and rooftops. I also wanted to touch on the power-up system, which is uniquely divided between permanent and temporary power-ups. So first off, when it comes to the temporary power-ups, you find scrap, which is a material you get after defeating enemies and clearing rooms, and you can spend it at shops within levels to buy inspirations, health, and other temporary boosts. The temporary power-ups only last through the course of one area, and they do go away after you either die or complete that area, and inspirations are one of those. Inspirations provide increased damage or things like invulnerability and faster cooldowns. You can also find artifacts, which are rare items that have significant buffs, more so than inspirations, things like increased critical hit chance or health regen. The permanent upgrades are much more consequential, and these are purchased via currencies like dragon coins, masks, pendants, and totems at the hub, the Turtle's Lair. And the great thing is that the game gives the player the choice of how to customize their upgrades to their liking. For instance, for the turtle powers, each turtle has its own unique upgrade tree, and players are able to enhance their stats, unlock new abilities, or obtain new bonuses. For instance, Raphael has the choice between higher critical damage or stun effects. Donatello gets to choose between enhanced health regen or bow staff reach. Michelangelo can decide between faster movement or crowd control combos, and Leonardo has the option of either improved sword range or faster special cooldowns. I enjoyed building my Raphael into a powerhouse by giving him the chance to throw shurikens with regular attacks, then selecting torrential strike to expand my multi-hit chance. This combo was super effective and was a total blast to play. It basically made me into a wrecking ball. And that's another thing that's so good about this game. Every time you hit enemies, you really get the sense of satisfaction like you don't in other games. It really does have that beat 'em up style. The numbers flying out help it immensely in that way too, but the enemy reactions and the color changes do as well. They really did a good job on this, and the controls are smooth and seamless. If I had to point out two criticisms of this game, it would be number one, there's just not enough enemy variance here. There's only probably several dozen enemies, and I think they could have done a better job expanding it to include many more. The other thing is that the power curve is really steep. This game is pretty difficult. It starts out very, very easy, and I initially thought, hey, they're throwing me a bone, this is a TMNT game, maybe they're trying to appeal to a younger audience, but it does ramp up hard, and by the time you get to the second or third area, it really becomes a challenge, and that's notable. That could be a good thing for some people, but I'm not a roguelike pro, so the difficulty was pretty high for me. There is the ability to go to an easy mode rather than normal though. A typical playthrough of Splintered Fate will probably take you around 7 hours, at least it did for me, but it really does offer a lot of replay value because, as I said, everything's randomized so it always feels fresh, and all of the turtles and Casey Jones perform totally differently. They're different characters, and you can build them in different ways and really get a new and fun experience out of every playthrough. All in all, I really enjoyed this game. It's a fun roguelike experience that I haven't really delved very deep into. The characters are fun. It'll hit you in the feels with all that TMNT nostalgia right away. What I especially enjoyed was the customizability of this game, the ability to build my fighter in my own preferred manner, and having so many unpredictable elements thrown right at me, whether it was the enemies, the bosses, or just the amount of hectic things that are going on around you. There's times you'll feel overwhelmed, and there's challenges, but all in all, it's just a lot of fun. It's a very addicting type of game. It's not really inaccessible either, so old schoolers that aren't really used to roguelike games can have fun with it and jump into it right away. It's certainly not as complex as a game like Hades is. But I do want to hear from you guys. What do you think of TMNT Splintered Fate? If you played it, let me know down in the comments below. Please also like this video, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a YouTube member or a Patreon patron to support my videos and get special perks like advanced viewing. And I'll catch you guys later. Cowabunga.